let's begin today on our mats, on our backs, bending our legs, soles of the feet to the floor, maybe hip width apart. Just pausing here for a few breaths. Whatever you were doing before this moment, just take these breaths to check in. Become present on your mat today, breathing in and out through your nose. Today we're going to explore our hips and our hamstrings, the power and the flexibility of our legs. We hold a lot of tension through our hips, so today we're going to work that out a little bit. Hopefully release some tension or some undue stress we're holding on to. We're going to have two themes through our day, our sthita and our sukham, so our steadiness and our ease. The key to our self-transformation as we process through our yoga class. So in our postures, we want to feel that steadiness. We want to feel strong. We want to find that ease and comfort, finding that perfect edge for our own personal yoga practice. And you'll hear me repeat this theme through class, reminding us to find that perfect edge. Let's go ahead and bring the knees all the way into the chest, maybe rocking left and right on that spine. Loosen up that lower back. Maybe draw the nose towards the knee and round it out if that feels good. And let's take a nice big stretch. So reaching the arms all the way up and overhead and reaching the feet towards the front of the room, stretching every muscle in the body, right? Like we just woke up. And this is what our yoga poses should feel like. We should feel every muscle engaged and all the joints working, but without pain or discomfort, right? Sensation is good, pain is bad. So continue to reach those arms forward and those feet are overhead and those feet forward. And then exhale, bring the knees into the chest again. Right? We want to find that sensation in our posture. So let's do that again. Reaching the arms overhead and the leg towards the front of the room. Really stretch all the way down your side body. Really reach those arms and engage the shoulders. Engage the biceps and the forearms all the way to the fingertips. Engage through the core, down through your glutes and your legs, all the way to your toes. And again, knees to chest, wrap the arms around the legs. Let's keep the right leg into the chest, let the left foot go down to the floor. Pause, knee to chest, wind release or pose. Maybe bring that knee over towards the right shoulder. So we're checking in with that right hip socket. Check in with that joint. Notice how it feels. Maybe pull it to the point of compression, right? We want to begin to get that synovial fluid released in that joint to help us move through class. Maybe nose towards knee if that feels good for you. And gently release. Let's take it for a nice, gentle hamstring stretch, leg towards the ceiling, and point and flex that foot. We're going to check in with that hamstring and notice how it feels, right? So we're not pushing ourselves at this point, we're just checking in. Point and flex, point and flex. And then pause where it's comfortable, take a few breaths. If you're warm, if you were doing some sort of cardio or exercise before this, you might be ready to go further, or if you're cold, take it easy, be gentle. And let's bring that right into half a happy baby. So let's bend that right leg. We're going to bring that right knee towards the right armpit, sole of the foot pointing up towards the sky. So that leg is almost making a 90-degree angle, right? And we can hold on to the calf, the ankle, or even the outside of that right foot. Left foot can do whatever you want it to do. It can stay straight, be bent, whatever you want that left side to do. Get a little deeper movement into that right hip. Let's bring that right ankle across the left thigh. So bend the left leg if it's not already there. A little figure four pose here. And then just gently press your right hand on that right knee, pressing it open to the side. And gently release. Let's switch sides. Left knee comes into the chest this time. And again, create that compression. Left knee towards the left shoulder. Maybe nose to knee. One thing to keep in mind is symmetry, right? So whatever you end up doing on one side, be mindful to do it on the other. If you intensify something, intensify it on both sides. If you back it off on both sides. We want to create as much symmetry and evenness in the body as possible. They say a balanced body is a painless body. And then hamstring stretch on the left side, so leg up towards the ceiling, point and flex the foot. Again, check in with the hamstring, notice how it feels. And then pause where it feels good. And let's move into that half a happy baby, bending the left leg, pulling the left knee towards the left armpit. Again, grabbing hold of the calf, the ankle, or the outside of the left foot this time. Another breath. And let's bring that left ankle across the right thigh. Again, bend that right leg if it's not already bent. Keeping that foot flexed, that's always going to help to protect our joints, especially our knees. And then left hand to the left knee and press that left knee out. And then let's gently release that. Both knees come back into the chest. Nose can come back towards your knees. Round it out. And we're going to come all the way to seated. So you can either roll to your favorite side and use your hands to press yourself up to seated, or you can rock and roll yourself, give yourself a little spinal massage, and then slowly come all the way up to a comfortable seated position. Be mindful not to overlap the legs. We want one in front of the other. So pull the heel of one foot in towards your tailbone, and then allow the other leg to be in front, maybe lining up the ankles. Right, so pausing in our seated position, Sukhasana, sitting up nice and tall. Let's take a big breath all the way in. Interlace the fingers, press the palms up towards the sky, and lengthen through the left and the right side ways. Let's exhale the left arm to the floor. Reach that right arm all the way up and overhead to the side wall, getting a side body stretch. Pressing that right hip back down into the floor, maybe peeking underneath that right bicep, peeking up at the ceiling. So we get a nice rotation through the ribcage. Inhale both arms up, and let's take it to the other side. Right arm goes down, left arm reaches all the way up and over. Again, this time press the left hip back down into the floor, peeking underneath the left armpit or left bicep. Inhale it all the way back up to center. Exhale, forward fold here. Hands can come down in front of you, chin to chest, round it out. Walk the hands forward into a comfortable forward fold. And then walking our hands back up. So we're going to get into our hips a little bit. So let's lift our right leg, and we're going to grab our right knee in our right hand and our foot in our left hand. And we'll just begin to rock that foot left and right. So we want to think about the hip joint here. And remember that synovial fluid. So we want to create that compression. Think about a sponge, right? That we want to begin to compress it and squeeze it and get that fluid moving. So we'll start with it left and right, up and down, maybe draw circles. You can always go a little bit deeper and cradle the baby, grabbing, interlacing fingertips. But I actually find more movement by just holding the knee and the foot. Another breath. And switching sides. Let's grab the left knee in the left hand and the left foot in the right hand. And then again, a little rocking, cradling that baby, rocking the baby left to right, up and down. Maybe draw circles, right? Create some movement in that hip. Nice. And let's come to all fours. So release the legs. Let's bring our hands under our shoulders and our knees underneath our hips. Spread those fingers apart, thumb and index pressing into the earth. Toes pointing straight back. Shins pressing into the earth. Let's be mindful to descend the tailbone so it's pointing back and behind us. So we're not dipping the belly down, but instead we're flattening through the sacrum and we're pulling the belly button in and up. And we're broadening through the upper back, keeping the heart pulling forward and the crown of the head reaching towards the front of the room. Nice flat tabletop. Right? So be mindful our back is nice and strong. Another breath here in our all fours position. Let's move through a couple cat-cows. So we'll just inhale and arch the spine, still keeping the belly button pulled in even when we're arching. Exhale and round it up tall, tuck the tailbone under, chin to chest, pull the belly button all the way in and up. And then inhale again, dipping the belly down into our cow, and then exhaling into our cat. We inhale as we open the chest, and we exhale as we contract the chest. Let's do 2 more. Inhale, and exhale. And one more time, inhale, and exhale. Back to our neutral spine. Let's sit our hips back towards our heels in our child's pose. Getting into those hips, rock a little left and right. And find that position for your knees. For some people, they're very comfortable with the knees together. Other people need their knees apart. It all has to do with the anatomy of the hip joint. So play with your child's pose. Find what feels good, especially since we're working into the hips today. From our extended child's pose, arms are reached all the way out in front of us. Ground down through your fingertips. Let's lift up onto our knees, tuck our toes under, lift our hips up, downward facing dog. Maybe pedal the feet, stretch the back of the legs. Maybe shift the weight a little forward and back on the hands, checking in. And pause in your dog. In our downward facing dog, let's lift high on the balls of the feet. And then press the heels down. And then again, high on the balls of the feet. Heels press down. One more time, high on the balls of the feet. And press the heels down. Let's lift that right leg up for a 3-legged dog. Reach it all the way up and back. Let's go ahead and bend the knee and open the hip. Maybe peeking underneath that left armpit and looking for that right foot back there. Inhale that right leg all the way back up, 3-legged dog, and let's bring that right foot all the way forward, coming into a low lunge. So that right foot's going to come forward towards your right hand, planting it down to the earth. And then we're going to drop the back knee to the ground. So we want a nice deep lunge here, getting into the hip flexor. So if we're not quite deep enough, maybe tuck the back toe under, lift the knee, wiggle the back foot back, and then release the knee back down, release the toe. Find your nice kneeling low lunge. You can pull your heart forward. You can turn your gaze forward. Right, squeezing the shoulder blades behind the heart, getting a little bit deeper into the hip socket. When we pause in these positions, we want a good 3 to 5 breaths, right? So we don't want to move too quickly that we don't get to enjoy it. So be mindful that we're not moving too quickly. We get to check in and notice how things feel. A little gentle hamstring stretch. We're going to shift the weight back into that back knee, begin to straighten that front leg. Some people prefer to flex that front foot. Some people like to keep it pointed. I like to be mindful to tilt my pelvis. So I'm going to pull my belly button towards my thigh so I get a nice gentle stretch on that hamstring and up and over the glute, right? If I contract back, I'll actually lose the stretch. So belly button forward, heart forward to find the stretch. We're going to move through a little baby vinyasa. So let's bring the weight back forward to that front foot, plant our hands back down to the earth. Step that right foot back so that the knees come towards each other. And let's pull into a kneeling chaturanga. Knees can stay down. Heart comes forward between the thumbs. Elbows hug into the rib cage. Kneeling upward facing. Just lift the heart. Exhale, downward facing. Shift the weight up and back. And now let's move to the other side. Left leg lifts up for that 3-legged dog. Bend the knee and open the hip. Peek under the right armpit. Look for that left foot underneath there. So we want to open up to the front side of that pelvis and the front side of that hip flexor here. Inhale, straighten that left leg, lift it all the way up. Left foot comes forward for that kneeling lunge on the left side. So bringing the foot down towards the floor, back foot back. Again, we want that nice stretch, so maybe lift the back knee, wiggle the back foot back, knee down, release, and then enjoy your low lunge. Allow the hips to come down towards the floor. Allow the heart to pull forward. Continue to breathe. And the deeper we breathe, the more oxygen we get to our muscles and the more pliable they become. So Be mindful when you're stretching that we're not holding our breath, right? We want to continue to breathe and oxygenate those muscles as we move through our yoga class. Try to release and relax through your hips. And let's slowly shift the weight back, kneeling hamstring. Shift the weight into that back knee, straightening the front leg. Again, point or flex that front foot. Be mindful of the belly button coming towards the thigh, heart forward. Breathe. And then through our little half vinyasa, shifting the weight forward, bringing the hands down towards your mat. Left foot goes back to meet the right, knees come together, heart comes forward, kneeling chaturanga, hug those elbows in. We're going to stay hovering off that mat, and then lift right into your kneeling upward facing. Exhale into your downward facing from here. Feel free to pause in child's if you need a little break. And take another breath. Let's walk our feet towards our hands, pausing in a forward fold at the top of our mats. Let's keep the knees soft. Let the belly come all the way to the thighs and let the head hang low. So bring the belly and the thighs together. However deeply you have to bend those thighs to achieve that, go ahead and bend those knees. Bring everything together. Maybe even wrap your arms around the backs of your legs and let your nose come towards your knee. Let the head hang nice and low. Maybe even shake it yes or no. Release any tension in your neck. Slowly bring in the hands to the mat, and we're going to gently roll the body all the way up to stand. Grounding down to the feet, rolling it up one vertebrae at a time. Pause in Tadasana at the top of your mat. Checking in with our alignment from the ground all the way up. Root down through the feet, pull up through the thighs, descend the tailbone, belly button in. Knitting the lower ribs, expanding the upper back, soft throat, soft gaze, crown of the head lifted. So we're going to move through a couple classic salutations, the ones where we add the lunge. So take just a moment. And then inhale, let's reach the arms all the way up and overhead. Exhale, swan dive it down to the floor. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we're going to step the right foot back for a lunge. So right foot goes back as we inhale everything all the way up. Exhale as we bring the hands down, step it back, lower down. Inhale into your upward facing. Exhale into your downward facing. Inhale, right leg up, three-legged dog. Exhale, right foot forward for a lunge on the other side. Inhale, bring it all the way up. Exhale, release the hands down. Both feet to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way to stand. Let's go right to the left side. Exhale, swan dive it down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Step the left foot back this time, reaching up into our lunge on the right side. Exhale, hands come down, step it back, lower down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Left leg lifts up, three-legged. Left foot comes forward. Inhale, lunge on the left side. Exhale and release it down. Both feet top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way up to stand. Exhale, heart center. Pause. So we led with the right foot going back. Then we led with the left foot going back. So we're going to repeat that again. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, swan dive it down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Right foot goes back. Inhale, lunge, bring it up. Exhale, release it down. Step it back, lower down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, right foot forward. Lunge on the right side, bring it up. Exhale, bring it down. Both feet top of the mat, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way up to stand. Exhale, right back down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Left foot goes back this time. Lunge, lift it up. Exhale, release it down. Step it back, lower down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Left leg lifts up. Left leg comes forward. Inhale into lunge on the left side. Exhale and release. Both feet forward, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, let's come all the way up to stand. Exhale, heart center, pause. We're going to do that one more time. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive it down. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, right foot goes back. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, release. Step it back, lower down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale, right foot forward. Inhale, lunge on the right side. Exhale, release the hands down. Both feet forward, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way up to stand. Exhale, right back down again. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, release. Left foot goes back this time. Inhale, lunge. Exhale and release. Step it back, lower down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Exhale, left foot lifts up. Left foot comes forward. Lunge on the left side. Exhale and release. Both feet forward. Top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way up to stand. Exhale, pause at heart center. Next. Let's take a deep inhale up. Exhale, swan dive it down into your forward fold. Let's take the left foot back into that lunge again. So left foot goes back. We're going to walk up into a higher lunge, so hands can come to your thigh or to your hips. And we're going to hold that lunge. Remember that right knee stays over that right ankle. Right back foot can go back. Descend the tailbone down so we get a nice stretch in that front of that left hip flexor. And we're going to hover off the mat. So allow your body to go as low as you are comfortable going, working that front quadricep and that left hip flexor. Tailbone again descending to the earth, pit of the belly pulled in and up. Soften your gaze. So we want to be strengthening that right quad and stretching the left hip flexor. Breathe. Warrior one, let's plant the back heel down. Lift those arms up. Warrior one. Lunging into that front leg. Maybe going a little bit deeper. So we're going to come into a variation of warrior, a variation of humble warrior. Belly comes to the thigh, arms reach back and behind you, crown of the head forward, hovering over that front leg. Hands can always come to the thigh for support if we need a little extra. Crown of the head reaching forward towards the front of the room. But we want to be working those legs, so you can bring your hands down if you need to. Now we're going to shift the weight forward and lift the back leg up. So shift the weight into that right front leg, lift the left foot up and behind you, pinky toe pointing down towards the earth, nice square hips. Bend in that front knee, supporting through that right leg. Let's cross the ankles, so left foot comes behind the right, crossing the ankles in a forward fold. Again, pulling the belly forward, tilting through that pelvis. Stretching through the IT band in the back of those hamstrings. Now we're going to lift that back leg up again, and this time we're going to tuck that left knee behind the right. So bend that right knee, allow that left knee to tuck in behind as we come down, maybe turn our gaze forward, and then press it up and lift that up again. Left leg goes behind. Again, bring it down, tuck it behind, turn your gaze forward, lift it up, press it back. One more time, bring it down, tuck it behind, and lift it up, reach it back, right into a nice deep lunge. Bend that front knee, nice deep lunge. Turn your gaze forward. Hands can come to the inside of that right knee too if you want to go a little bit deeper, right, depending how warm you are at this point. A deeper lizard pose, you can even come to your elbows if you so like. Let's slowly bring that right hand to the outside of that right foot if we brought it in. Intense leg stretch. Let's bring that left foot in, about 2/3 of the way in. Intense leg stretch on the right side. Straightening those legs, heart towards the front, thigh. Pyramid pose or intense leg stretch pose. Pulling the heart forward. Nice breath. Meeting in downward facing dog, let's bend the front knee. Hands come down towards the mat. You can step it back and just meet right in dog, or step it back into your plank pose, moving through vinyasa, lower through your chaturanga. Inhale into your upward facing, exhale into your downward facing. Pause here, down dog, or feel free to pause in child's pose. Take a couple breaths. We're going to prepare to move to the other side. And let's bring the left foot forward, coming into a lunge on the left side. So going to that hovering position, coming to that lunge, squaring the hips. Hands can come to your hips. Bend that back knee. Allow yourself to find that perfect balance, again, of our stira and our sukham. So in this lunge, we want to find that balance between our ease and our effort, right? So apply that effort, go down so we feel that nice strengthening in the front thigh, and then the ease of the stretch on the back hip. Hold and hover in your lunge. Breathe. If your breath becomes shaky, maybe back off a little bit. If you don't feel your heart rate rising, maybe go a little deeper. Warrior one from here, plant the back heel down, arms reach up, warrior one, bend into that front leg. Remember, left hip back, right hip forward. Descend the tailbone, open the heart, knitting the ribs. Breathe in your warrior one. And let's pull the heart forward as we sweep the arms back, hovering over that front leg for our warrior variation or our humble warrior variation, right? So we want to be using the legs to hold us up. So be mindful we're not relying too much on the hands, but that we're still using those nice strong legs to hover. Continue to breathe. And we can bring our hands down towards the floor as we shift the weight forward, lift the back leg up. Little supported warrior three variation, pinky toe of that back foot pointing down towards the ground, nice square hips. So point that right hip down towards the earth if it happens to flare out to the right. Point it straight down. That's really going to tap into our hamstring on that left side. And crossing the ankles, right ankle goes behind the left this time. Pause in your forward fold. And let's prepare for tucking that back knee. So we're going to lift that right leg back up. Exhale as we bend the front knee, tuck that right knee behind the left, bend the knees, turn your gaze forward, and then lift it back up again. And again, tuck it down, turn your gaze, lift it back up. We'll do that one more time. Bring it down, and lift it back up. And then moving into that nice deep lunge, right foot touches the ground behind you. Bring the hips nice and low, gaze turns forward. Find your lunge, maybe hands come to the inside of that left foot, into a nice deep lizard pose. Again, remember, be balanced. Whatever you did on the other side, do it on this side too. Preparing for intense leg stretch. Let's tuck the back toe under, lift the back knee, bring that right foot in about 2/3 of the way, or 1/3 of the way, I guess, and begin to straighten that front leg for intense leg stretch. Squaring the hips, belly and heart towards the left thigh and shin, tilting of the pelvis, folding forward. Let's take one more breath. Bending the front knee, hands come down to the mat, step it back into your plank pose through your chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing, exhale, downward facing. Take 2 more breaths. On your next inhale, let's reach the right leg up, 3-legged dog. Let's bring that right foot forward, coming into warrior 2. So this time, right foot comes forward, left foot goes back. And we're going to open the hips and the shoulders to the side wall. Right arm forward towards the front of the room, left hand to the back of the room, warrior 2. So once again, we're going to find that effort and ease. So bend into that front leg. Right knee tracking towards the right pinky toe. Make sure we can see our big toe on the inside of that right knee. Right, so we're going to feel that external rotation of that right thigh and the internal rotation of the left thigh. Little opposition. Find the perfect edge for your body, warrior 2. Reverse warrior, reach that right arm up and back. Left hand to the hip or to the thigh. Just avoid the major joints, right? Bones are good. Reach it up so we get a nice stretch to the side waist and through the rib cage, right? Nice big breath. Exhale into side angle pose. Let's bring that right forearm to the thigh. Left arm can reach up towards the sky or all the way alongside the ear. Once again, be mindful we're not dumping all the weight into the bones. So let's check in. Maybe lift that right elbow off the thigh. Maybe reach those fingertips down towards the floor. And just press the back of the arm into that right knee and right thigh. Right, really engage the legs when we're exploring our extended side angle pose. Next, inhale right into triangle. Straighten that right front leg. Right hand to the right shin or thigh. Hips are going to press forward, but we're going to roll that left rib cage up and back. Maybe take our gaze up to those left fingertips. Right, so we want to push the hips forward and pull the heart back. So we avoid leaning all the way forward just to bring our hand to the floor, but instead pull the heart back. So if we turn our gaze to the ground, our nose is right over that right foot. And then maybe gaze at the horizon. Moving into half moon, let's bring the left hand to the left hip. We're going to bend that right front leg. Bring the right hand down to the floor, about a foot in front of the right foot. Left foot steps in, shift the weight forward, lift the back leg up, preparing for half moon. We can stay right here, supported with our gaze at the ground, or maybe that left arm lifts up. Maybe we even begin to take some of the weight out of that right hand and lift that right hand just off the mat, hovering and holding strong in that right front leg. Another breath. Let's go ahead and square the hips. Bring both hands down to the mat. Both feet down to the mat. Forward fold. Pause here. You can grab a hold of the big toes or the outside of the feet. Allow the heart to come all the way down towards the legs. Top of the head reaching towards the ground. Inhale, halfway lift. Nice strong spine. Meeting in our downward facing dog, you can step or hop it back, lower it down. Inhale into your upward facing dog, and exhale into your downward facing dog. We'll take 3 breaths here. And then we'll move to the other side. So let's lift the left leg up for a 3-legged dog. Bring the left foot forward, preparing for warrior 2 on the other side. Plant the feet down, bring it all the way up. Left hands forward over that front leg. Right arms reach back. Remember, hips and shoulders open to the side wall. Left knee tracking towards the left pinky toe. Gaze at the big toe. Right, ground down into those feet. Find your perfect edge. Go a little bit deeper. That front thigh can actually be parallel to the floor. You can go all the way down that low as long as it's not causing any pain in your joints. Continue to breathe. Again, if your breath is shaky, back off. If your heart rate isn't pounding or increasing, then maybe go a little deeper. Using these large muscle groups, our heart rate should increase. Reverse warrior from here, right arm down the back leg or hip, left arm reaches up towards the sky, up and back. Again, really feel the stretch of the left waist and the left rib cage, stretching the intercostal muscles of the ribs. So reach those arms up and back. This helps to increase our lung capacity by stretching the space of our lungs. right, or the rib cage. So our rib cage can expand a little bit more each time we breathe. So really imagine that we're expanding and breathing into this space as we reach up and back for reverse warrior. Inhale as you bring it up. Exhale right into side angle, forearm to the thigh, right arm reaches up towards the sky or all the way up and overhead. Again, be mindful that our hips press forward and our heart pulls back. Right? Maybe take your gaze down. Maybe see if our foot is right below our nose. Maybe taking our gaze up at that right hand. And maybe planting our drishti on the horizon, if that feels good to you. Being mindful not to kink our necks, but allowing them to rotate on the axis. Keeping that right rib cage rolling back, expanding through the heart space, increasing that lung capacity. Being mindful we're not collapsing or constricting our lungs, but keeping them nice and open for that nice, steady, deep breath. Moving into triangle on your next inhale, straighten that front leg, right arm reaches up, hand to the shin or the thigh. Just avoid the knee. Always keeping that nice little bend in our joints. So a little soft bend in that front knee. We don't want to lock it out, especially if you have a tendency to hyperextend your joints. You need to be even more cautious to bend that knee so as not to cause any harm to that joint or overextend it. And breathe in that triangle pose. And then preparing for our half moon, let's bring that right hand to the right hip. Bring the back leg in a little bit. Reach that left arm out in front of the left foot. Shift the weight forward. Lift the back leg up. And then maybe extend that right arm towards the sky. We're going to look for that same rotation of the neck and head, maybe gazing at the horizon or keeping our gaze at our left hand down on the floor. Maybe explore taking some of the weight out of that left hand and lifting up into the space, reaching with our strong core, strong spine, strong legs. Half moon. Take another deep inhale. Exhale into your forward folds. We're going to begin to square the hips, bring the hands down, and then both feet come together, forward fold. Maybe intensifying the fold from last time, maybe hands under feet this time, or wrapping your arms around your legs, whatever feels good here. And then let's slowly bring the body all the way up to stand. Coming into Tadasana. Couple balancing poses right here, standing wind releaser. Let's bring that right knee all the way up. We can interlace the fingers below that right knee, squeeze that right knee all the way up towards our right shoulder. Modification is just to grab below that right thigh, interlacing the fingers underneath. Or standing wind releaser, we're going to bring that right knee in. Similar to what we did on the floor to start. Right hand stays below that right knee. We're going to open it out to the right side. Maybe taking our gaze to the left, challenging our balance. And let's bring it back to the center, switching hands. Left hand below that right knee this time. Right hand to the waist. Add the twist. Little dancing Shiva. Right arm can reach back and behind you. Twisting balance. Moving back to the center, figure four from here. Let's bring that thigh across the, right ankle across the left thigh, similar to what we did on the floor, this time into a balance pose. Hands can come to heart center. We can bring our elbows down towards our foot and our knee, keeping that right foot flexed, always protecting that joint. Get a nice hip stretch here. And slowly bring it all the way back up, and let's release that right leg to the floor, back into Tadasana. Wind releaser pose on the other side, left knee lifts up. Interlace those hands below that knee, squeeze it in towards that left shoulder, left rib cage, or hands below that left thigh, modification. Prepare to open to the side, left hand below the left knee, open to the left side. Maybe take your gaze to the right. And bringing it back to the center, preparing for the twist. Right hand below that left knee. Left hand to the waist. Open and twist to the left side. And maybe opening that left arm back and behind and turning your gaze, dancing Shiva on the other side. And let's slowly bring it back to the center. And then bending that leg, coming into that figure four. Left ankle across the right thigh this time. Hands can come to heart center. And elbows can come to the foot and to the knee. Another breath. Slowly release. Allow the feet to come together. Let's separate the feet hip width apart, turning the toes out, preparing for garland pose. Inhale, let's bring the arms up. And exhale, squat it all the way down into a nice deep squat. If our heels can stay to the mat, maybe keep the heels to the mat. Holding garland, those elbows are going to press into those knees, pressing them open. We want to be mindful the knees are pointing in the direction of the toes. So if the toes are further out and the knees are coming in, just adjust the toes. Right? That's going to protect our joints. So just be sure, again, that wherever our toes are pointed, that our knees are going straight over those toes. Pause here in your garland pose. Now, if you fly into crow or crane, feel free to move into that position. We can bring our hands to the mat, right? We're going to squeeze those knees. I like to think thigh master, right? So we want to use those adductor muscles. Squeeze those knees inward onto those shoulders, the backs of those triceps, as we shift the weight forward. Belly button pulled in and up, and then we're going to squeeze the heels up towards the glutes. Keeping your gaze forward. And you can come down. You can try it a few times, or even just rock into your hands and rock back. Just check in on how it feels to be on your hands. Or just pause in your garland pose, nice deep squat. Our goal here is just getting a little bit deeper into the hips. Slowly bring the heels back down, adding a little twist here. Right arm goes in front of that right leg, left arm reaches up. Or we can reach that left arm behind our backs, right arm in front of the right leg, taking the bind behind us. You don't have to, you can just keep that stretch. And then switching sides, left hand comes down in front of the left leg, right arm reaches up for that gentle twist, or taking the bind as that right hand drops behind your back, left arm wraps around the front of that left shin, twist and bind on the left side. And slowly release it. Bring it back to the center. Pause right here. Slowly walk your hands up and let's bring the feet and the knees together. Tiptoe seat. Little balancing pose right here. So squeeze the knees and the thighs together, the ankles. We're going to pull everything into the center line, pulling everything in and up to find our balance. So be mindful we're not just sitting on the bones, but that we're hugging everything in and lifting everything up. Hands can come to heart center. Little balancing tiptoe seat. Stretching through the toes, the arches of the feet, the ankles. And from here, we're going to slowly transition into boat pose. So you can bring your hands down and come to your seat and sweep your feet around, or reach those arms out in front of you. Slowly release your heels to the mat, allowing your hip bones to hit the earth, and bring those legs forward. Right into boat pose. We're going to hold boat, core pulled in, legs out front. Being mindful not to sink our boat, have a flat bottom boat on the sacrum, but lifting all the way up on those sit bones. Legs can be bent, maybe shins parallel, or legs can be straight, your choice. Holding our nice strong boat. If you want to grab a hold of your toes, you can grab your toes, extending into a little taller boat. And then we're slowly going to bend those legs, bring them back down to the earth, coming into a bound angle pose, soles of the feet together, knees open wide. And we can press those elbows against the shins, pressing them open a little bit more. Let's keep the pinky edge of the foot in contact with the floor. You can open the feet like a book if you like, using your thumbs to pull on the big toe edge of the foot. It's going to help just to release through your hip socket. Let's slowly release, extend the legs out straight. Dandasana, palms flat down beside your hips, nice tall spine. So we want a nice L shape here, so even if you have to bend the knees to get that, feel free to bend the knees. If straighten the legs pops your back behind you when you round out, go ahead and bend the knees so we can sit up nice and tall. Forward fold from here, arms reach up, inhale, exhale, forward fold. Arms can walk down the front towards those feet, towards the shins. Once again, I like to bend the knees, bring the belly to the thighs, similar to we did at standing at the beginning of class. Bring everything close and together, and then slowly begin to straighten the legs until the two want to separate. And that's where I pause for a nice hamstring stretch. And let's slowly release. Head to knee pose, right foot comes into the left thigh. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, fold forward. Another breath. And slowly release. Marichyasana, bring the sole of the foot to the floor. Forward fold from here. We can just reach for that left foot. We can reach that right arm in front, similar to what we did in garland pose. That arm can wrap around and take the bind. Or we can just hold on to that right knee with the right hand and the left leg somewhere along the leg or foot with the left hand. And let's slowly bring the body up. So we're going to go a little bit deeper into that right hip. So we're going to take our right peace fingers and grab a hold of that right big toe, preparing for archer pose. We're going to lift that leg up. Now we're just going to pump that right leg behind us a few times. So think of that cradle the baby, think of that movement. So we can just hold here, getting a little bit deeper into that right hip socket, or as we reach into our archer pose, we pump it back a few times, and we're going to pull and draw that right elbow up and back as that left arm reaches towards those left big toes or anywhere along that left leg. Try to pull the heart forward, lifting into archer. Leg all the way up and back behind us. Take another breath here. Exhale, straighten it all the way back out and release it down. Left foot comes in, head to knee pose on the other side. Forward fold over the right front leg. Release into Marichyasana, bring the sole of the foot to the floor. Again, reaching forward towards that right foot, left hand below the left knee if you like, or taking that bind. Right arm behind your back, left arm in front of the leg. Turn your gaze forward, pull the heart forward. Check in with the hips, notice how they feel. And slowly bring it up as we prepare archer on the other side. So peace fingers, grabbing that big toe, right hand on the right leg, foot forward. Think of that happy baby position too, right? So we have this 90-degree angle, and we're going to pull that knee up and back, giving it a few pumps, pulling it up and back, getting some movement in the hip. Seeing how far back the knee behind the torso, right? How far it wants to go. And then we can just hold it right here or keep pumping it, or prepare for your archer pose. Pull it back, draw that left elbow up and back, right? And maybe those right fingertips reach towards the right big toes. Breathe. And then slowly release, both feet forward. Creating symmetry back in the body, forward fold over both legs. Now from here, we can choose to go a little deeper into the hip or take it a little further. So option one is to bring that right ankle across the left thigh. right? Pausing in that figure 4, we can take it forward, bringing the heart towards the right shin. Option 2 is to take that right leg and we're going to bring it behind our body and up and over that right shoulder like a backpack, right? So we're going to bring it up and back if we feel we have that space in our hips today. And we're going to bring it up and over the shoulder. Hands are going to come down to the mat. This is also if you are a crane or a flyer and you have that strength in the upper body. Then we're going to press into the floor, lift the hips up off the mat, and then lift that left leg off and point it forward. Okay, so we're going to hold this position, just lift up or play with it a little bit. Maybe just lift the hips, lift the foot, alternate, right? Play around with this position a little bit, or we're just holding that figure 4, pulling the heart towards that front leg. And play with it just for another breath or 2. And then we'll slowly go to the other side, release. And switching sides again, figure 4, maybe bringing that left ankle across the right thigh, pull the heart forward. You can even bend that lower leg, that might give you a little bit deeper stretch into that outer hip. Or we're going to take that left leg up and over the shoulder, bring that left hand down to the mat, right? Planting our hands to the earth. Check in with lifting the hips, check in with lifting that lower leg. And again, maybe just shifting into the hands and then lifting the leg, alternating one and then the other, building strength at one part, then the other, and then maybe trying to pull them both together, using those lower abdominal muscles to lift those legs up off the mat. And we're holding in that fold, another breath. And then slowly releasing, straightening both legs out and give them a little shake. Let's come to a simple cross-legged pose again, adding a gentle twist. So left hand to the right knee, looking up and over the right shoulder. And then switching sides, right hand to the left knee, look up and over the left shoulder. And then bringing it back to the center. Let's inhale the arms up and release the fingers, press the palms up to the sky. Dropping that left hand down to the mat, right arm reaches all the way up and over, side stretch. Inhale center, exhale other side, right hand down, left arm over, side stretch. And bring it back to the center. Let's bring the soles of our feet to the floor. We're going to roll ourselves all the way down to the earth. So holding onto the backs of those legs, roll yourself all the way down to your mat, knees come into chest. Maybe rolling left and right on the spine. Right knee comes into the chest, left foot goes down. Straighten that leg to the sky, hamstring stretch. And let's stretch that right hamstring. Maybe nose to knee. Maybe straighten that left front leg. And slowly release. Left leg comes in, knee to shoulder. Hamstring stretch, point and flex the foot. And then stretch the left side. And again, maybe nose to knee. And then maybe right leg reaches forward. And release, both knees in. Full happy baby from here, both legs up, grabbing the big toes or outside of the feet. You can choose to do half a happy baby like we did before. You can even move a little a little left to right. Maybe those knees come down towards the ground. See how much space we have in those hips. Maybe pausing in the dead bug. And just allow your body to relax in the center. And then both legs up towards the ceiling for a little inversion. Hands can rest under the hips. You can just pause right here. You can lift into shoulder stand or plow or any inversion of your choice. And just allow your body to enjoy being inverted. And just begin to slow down your breath. And just observe how you're feeling. Our inversions help to relax the body and trigger the relaxation response. So even if legs are just in the air, allowing the blood to come back towards the torso for recirculation. Let your legs enjoy that reversed flow. Let your heart not have to work as hard. Allow your brain to be bathed with fresh, oxygenated blood. Just relax and breathe. And feel free to stay here for as long as you like. You're gently coming out of your inversion if you're still there. Allowing yourself to roll all the way down to the floor. We're going to move into a gentle spinal twist before relaxation. So bending the legs. And let's shift the hips up and over to the left side of our mat and drop the knees to the right. Spinal twist. And then preparing for the other side, bring them back to the center. Shift the hips over to the right. Drop the knees to the left. Spinal twist on the other side. And then slowly bring everything back to the center. If there's any other last movement your body needs before relaxation, feel free to honor that, whatever it is. Maybe you need a back bend, a deeper twist, a deeper stretch, more of a balance, maybe a challenging posture, something you really love to do. We didn't really do any bridges or back bending, so if you feel you need a little counter pose to our forward folds, maybe take a gentle bridge pose. And then when you're ready, allow yourself to release all the way down to the floor into relaxation. And we're in a unique situation here where you can take as much time in your Shavasana as you need. In a typical class, we're limited to time, and we may only get a couple of minutes, maybe up to 5 minutes at the end of the class, unless we have an extended class time, to really be able to enjoy our Shavasana and enjoy our relaxation pose at the end of class, where our body gets to relish in the benefits of all of the asanas and all of the movements that we just experienced. So if you have the time to rest here for 5-10 minutes, maybe add that on to your practice today. Give yourself permission to do nothing. Give yourself permission to think of nothing. Allow your muscles to melt away from your bones. Allow your body to be heavy into the earth. Allow the corners of your eyes to soften. Allow the jaw to relax. The tongue to be soft in the mouth. Soften through the throat and the chest. Relax through the shoulders, the elbows, and the wrists, allowing every joint to just release and relax. Feel more space created between all of the bones. Relax down through the hips, the knees, and the ankles. Really find yourself in a truly relaxed, zero impact position. And try to be still. Still still body and still mind. Just gently breathing in and out through the nose. Feeling rise and fall of the belly with each breath. Maybe returning to an even breath. And breathing in for 5 and out for 5. Or whatever your breath cadence is. And again, if you can take an extra few minutes here, feel free to do so. Or if not, we can slowly awaken the body. Rolling to our favorite side and coming all the way up, back to our comfortable seated position. Maybe this time placing the opposite leg in front that we normally do. Sitting up tall with a tall spine. Maybe our eyes are still closed, or maybe they're only open to 10th, allowing just a little bit of light in. And just observing how we feel from head to toe, checking with those hips and hamstrings and legs as we move them today. Maybe we have a little bit more space. Maybe we help to release a little stress or a little tension that we were holding in those areas. And bringing our hands to heart center. And I honor the place in you where the universe resides, that place of love, light, peace, and truth. And when you are in that place in you and I am in that place in me, there is only one of us. Namaste. Let's begin to move through our Sen Sayuti.